Sport Grand Program, which will be managed by Kate Robson and Madeleine Cardenas. Just the content will be more around the really interactive session, and so that's good. And then we have a nice, just small coffee break, and we continue with the licensing management system with our two compares of yesterday. And straight after, we have the interactive session. So this interactive session will be in the presence of Jean Todt. So Jean will be with us, and this part, you know, because we used to do it, it's for getting your feedback from the Congress and share with the other participants your feeling about what has worked, what you think could be improved, which kind of topics you would like to discuss at the next Congress, these kind of things. And we also distribute the satisfaction survey, Sonia, for the last session in order to have your comments in a paper. And finally, the closing ceremony. So with some protocol and some presents that we have prepared for you, and the participant certificates. And we'll try to finish a bit earlier. The plan is to leave at 2:45 from here and go to the parking area for the demonstration of the cross car and the launch of the new karting program made with the Rwanda Motorsport Club. So maybe you can say a few words, Christian, about the plan, what you have just planned around the parking, and because some public is planned, that you have the public as well and some VIP.
Thank you. Just quickly, it's going to be a launch of karting in Rwanda and demonstration of crosscar. So we're going to have some VIPs going to join us, and President Jean Todt is going to be in the crosscar and jump to the karting again. So I invite you to be there. I'm not sure that we'll be able to get slots for everyone, maybe to sit in a karting, but if possible, we'll do it. So let's be there and enjoy the activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we can start because we are just a bit ahead of the program, but we'll fix everything, and we need to finish on time at 12:30 and having the 1 hour of lunch and come back here precisely at 1:30. So please respect the timing, because if not, for the motorsports activity, it will be very difficult to manage. So thank you very much. So Kate, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. So welcome to this workshop on the Sport Grant Programme. I know it's uppermost in your minds with the deadline being Tuesday. So the idea of this session is to really sit in groups and talk about the topics that you're planning to apply for. So I've spoken to some of you already, and I have an idea of the topics you're looking at. The purpose of this session is to really sit and finalize what's going to be your training and development needs, what topics you're going to apply for. Also, if any of you are interested in a cluster program, this is the moment to decide on who you might work with, and we can give you some good advice. Then we're also going to look at the application form itself, particularly in the context of the SMART objectives. We have some extra questions in the application form this year, and it's very important that you use those to provide us with the information that we need. So, as I mentioned, applications close at 5 o'clock Geneva time on Tuesday. And just a reminder to the French speakers, you can make your applications in French if you wish. So just to go over very quickly the points I mentioned yesterday, when you're thinking about the projects you're going to do, you really need to think what's going to develop motorsport in my country, what's going to encourage more participants into motorsport, how do I get more competitors. Also, the activity that you choose should be realistic, it should be appropriate to the facilities and the infrastructure that you have. If you're at a grassroots level or even a medium level, really strongly encourage you to work with an RTP. Steve is here to give advice. And as I mentioned, the SMART objectives, these are so important. And when you're in your tables, we can sit down with you and we can explain a bit more what these mean. Any of you thinking of doing a cluster program? Has anybody thought about this? Has anybody discussed? Yes? With who? With which? Okay, perfect. So shortly I'm going to ask Madeleine to come and explain the exercise for this workshop. First of all, I just want to get a feel for the different range of topics and how we will arrange you into groups. If you are looking at a cluster, please can you sit on a table with the other members of your cluster, and we will come to you and we will talk about your project. Can I have a show of hands for other topics that I know people are considering? Can I have a show of hands for people who are thinking of any kind of equipment, timing, tracking, medical vehicles, etc.? Show of hands so I can see how many tables to do. Sam, I think for Zambia, yes? Okay. Okay, so that's maybe 2 tables. What about facilities? Or circuit, or, yeah? Okay. As well, okay. What about training of officials and event organization? Botswana? Yeah? Karting? Okay, perfect. All right, so when Madeleine has finished explaining how the exercise will work, we will leave the questions up on the screen and I will distribute them to the tables. When she's finished, please stand up and go and sit on a table according to the topic so that all the people on the table are talking about the same topic, and then we can come around and help you. Thank you. Can we just have the presentation back up, please? Oh. There you go.
Good morning, everyone. So during this exercise, we will please ask you to sit in groups according to your chosen topic of your grant application. If you intend to make a cluster application, please sit with the other ASNs in your cluster. During this workshop, we'll ask you to develop your ideas for your sport grant funded project, and please ask help from the FIA experts. As mentioned previously, the grant application form has been modified, so we would ask you to work on your questions to question from section 3 in the grant application and focusing on the SMART objectives. We will distribute some sheets, some printed sheets on your table shortly. You will have 50 minutes to work in groups with the help of FIA experts, and 10 minutes to report back. We would ask you to designate one person per group to present your project. These are the questions that will be printed out on your tables. Okay. So we can now ask you to maybe sit in groups according to your topics.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know which
Yeah, okay. Right, right. So 2.5 hours.
and I went to the island ask him if everything is
Because you didn't give it to me.
Oh yeah, I should have given that to you. Okay, they've registered.
I have registered.
Yes.
Will you send me
I'll
their
send you again.
credentials?
Yeah, I'll send you again an email with all of. Yeah, I'll send it out to you now.
but I should be this gentleman is expecting stuff in him, so just ask him who's expecting.
Yeah.
Sorry, and Eritrea.
They're ready for somebody to come and see.
Carlos if he needs as well. Yes. Yes, this was a year and a half ago. Now the little one is a year and a half. Boy, girl? Boy? Yes. Really? My son? A year and a half. My daughter, the lion. Yeah, she will turn 6 in December. She was born 2011.
I have a granddaughter who's 8.
Really? Wow. Okay, thank you. I must take it as a compliment.
I got a compliment yesterday. I was sitting next to the Olympic talking. Asked me how old I was. I said I was 71 last week. She said, yeah. Oh, thank you. I pay you compliment, you pay me.
good.
Sonia, did you send me the logo? The Regional Congress logo?
Yes, I sent you yesterday.
Can't seem to find it.
But it was not this one, it was with the / Africa. I think it was
In my deleted items by mistake.
I sent you something else, I don't remember what. I just need to send something urgent now, but after that I will check my sent
No
emails.
problem. Sure, it's just me gone missing something.
Le gars, il faut que tu arrives sur l'autre. Bon, d'abord, je vais demander la question si c'est d'abord envoyer quelqu'un. 9 week-ends,
Ouais, mais c'est j'ai un peu tellement j'ai un pote à moi qui me dit on va voir les filles. Parce que apparemment il a dit qu'il faut bien utiliser les portes de la voiture parce que parfois les gens ils arrivent sérieux. Enfin, il a dit une vidéo sur YouTube.
Very interesting. En gros, je comprenais, mais après, pour les aider, c'était pas possible.
I'm the first permanent person in the whole history of what I need to do now is to find a way to sustain. It's been a struggle financially to identify enough time to think about one of the things I was thinking might be
The aim is to get
C'est un problème d'amour, mais c'est un risque. Il faut que les gens qui connaissent soient ouverts à apprendre aux autres. C'est l'occasion de faire avant la saison
training and COC. Particular programs you have additional training on techniques and so the knowledge will increase and you're able to share the knowledge. Wherever is a strong point zone, you can see where there's a trainer, what the trainers do.
So, the critical thing.
Non, non, j'ai demandé, j'ai pas
Mais là, je vais il était là tout à l'heure.
C'est à quelle heure, est-ce qu'il faut leur dire combien de temps à l'avance?
Oui, leur dire maintenant. Oui, non, je veux dire après. Dès que tu peux, c'est ce que pense le lien, l'histoire de du late check-out for free, c'est bien.
Je suis dans 3 slides. Je te l'envoie.
Je dois faire sur la slide feedback là, session. Peut-être on peut drafter les points ensemble. Comme ça, toi tu peux aussi voir un peu le record de ce qui s'est passé. Je vais prendre le note de Tracy. Et puis je vois Andrew parce qu'on a bossé sur toi. Data transparent.
Les satisfaction server, tu distribues
alors, ouais, non, il faudrait qu'on puisse le faire avant. C'est-à-dire que l'idéal, ça serait de le faire, par exemple là, avant le coffee break, trouver 2 sessions, comme ça, s'ils veulent déjà commencer à compléter les premières sessions, et ils nous le rendent après le licensing management. Tu vois. Comme ça, on a tout, parce que je les donne à Jean, c'est pour un look, et après, c'est juste que je crois des coup, on a mis ça. Ah oui, tant pis, ça a changé. Ouais, non, là, sinon, je pense qu'on va nous case
récupérer, c'est clair. Ok, moi je vais aller voir la chambre. Je peux laisser mon PC ici.
Juste les satisfactions, tu
elles sont sur le bureau, tout ça, je vois.
D'accord.
Au-dessus des je reviens dans 5 minutes.
Non, c'est juste comme ça, je les ai au cas où tu as besoin de
Ça reprend à 11h là.
Bah là, il est 10h, donc
si on est distribué à la fin de cette session-là,
ouais, ça va être 11h15.
Ok, ouais, ça marche.
Ouais.
See how many of those are actually able to qualify to get a license. Yeah. So mine are 4 people who qualify. Yeah. Before the training. Yeah, I think here
Yeah, so we are going to review everything at 10:30 that they've gathered so far, and the aim is to capture some bits from the next session to go in for sure, and then review a final version at lunchtime. But, so yeah, absolutely. So we will have 2 versions, one ready to go at lunchtime, loaded and tested, and another version that they will quickly try and get some of the stuff from the interactive session in, but at least we're not trying.
Interactive session, for sure they continue to record interactive footage.
Yeah.
And also with the model of activity, and then we can ask them to have a longer version and a final one,
right.
which includes the model of activity as well.
Yeah.
And that can be shared with delegates
Yeah,
afterwards.
sure.
So the first one, which is more like presenting the delegates and what's happening for these 2 days. And then we can ask them to provide you with the final, which includes the last 2 weeks.
Sure.
What you say?
Yeah, sounds good. Just wanted to get as much in as possible, but if that works, that's great.
We joined the COSCA, the Cartier and City, and so on. I think if we can finish it with this.
Yes, just.
Struggling.
Yep. Okay.
Did you get yesterday the family picture?
Yes.
And what's your plan in terms of website, application? We need to work together for...
So I will be drafting something in the lunch break, and then we'll review it together, and then I'll just need to grab something from the President's closing speech and put that in. And then it will go up on the website tonight.
Yeah. So the plan is to publish something before the
Or even if I don't get it uploaded here because of approvals, do it at the airport. My Outlook is broken, so I used webmail to send you that document.
Because normally if they ask like some certificates, you can...
Yeah, it won't, it just continues to load, so I'm struggling to find things at the moment. Maybe I could WhatsApp you the image, family picture.
I've put the training sessions and the assessment. Yeah. Say 3. What is the next step? Training? No, you're right. Yeah. So, at 8, so training, all time training, that's the next step. And then,
Usually we can prepare everything by anything, I mean, is catching up some feeling from the satisfaction survey and just relax speech.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I've asked Sonia to send them some of our applications.
No, that's what shows what we have now, what shows them. Because now I have not, it was like only the pilot project, so I need to go to the official 3 of them about the process,
I've just put for how many hours complete.
but to do it properly.
And also working on the
should go to the VA session.
Yep. Yep. So So, create ongoing assessment to ensure
with Colin as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing, to make it sustainable, is delivering training. So they're actually creating this placement. Yeah, exactly.
So we have to seek assistance from another country. It becomes cost is going up because you have to pay fare, accommodation. But we need to.
So the challenge is program is that find okay, so that's not
The trouble is, sometimes they will train somebody, and then suddenly he gets away from the system. He doesn't want to participate. He doesn't want to train other people. So we have a vacuum of those people like that. That's why we're saying the additional numbers will take care of that eventually. But then you're not sure because there's sport. Like nowadays, we used to be going there passion for graduate, but now they said, we're going to pay you. They're going to pay me for my school, I'm going to pay you this, this. So the cost increases. So these officials have to find people who are really interested not only for the sake of getting license, but trying to implement, help the others to do. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Development program as part of it. So not appreciate that to them, so or mentor someone else. So it's a program.
What is one thing about, for example, somebody's got a outside license, he doesn't do anything for the 2 years or 3 years. Yes, you know, it should be downgraded. Because otherwise he'll be able to.
So I think the biggest challenge when the big program itself is follow up. So I've challenged development environment, but it's probably not quite the right word to know.
Report back, so they need to nominate someone.
Okay.
Yep.
Excuse me, everyone. You have 10 minutes left.
We're good.
You're good. Okay. And if you can designate someone who would present your project. Okay.
It's not my zone. It's yours. Do you want to do Christian first?
Venir vous aider, c'est bien mieux.
Mais là, j'ai commencé en revenant à Genève parce que j'ai commencé à aller.
Yes. Because that's cheap. C'est ça, un truc qui peut mener version électronique.
Ouais.
Ok. Est-ce que tu sais si dans un classement, genre un petit peu de classement par région?
En fait, c'est ça, je demande en fait, vraiment un outil, on le sait par de toute manière. MSD, voilà.
Et après, tu vois, j'avais plus demandé un petit peu.
I don't know. Maybe or Maori.
Et en fait, ce que je vais faire, donc, on a notre serveur, donc je vais sauvegarder là et je vais créer la box. C'est bien, ouais.
Some detail because they're trying to log in. And I said, whoa, we need.
Oh, really?
Okay.
It's because the internet is just...
So that you're going to do both then?
Jump on that occasion.
Sometimes it's the ones that don't want to that need it the most.
I actually really like the smell of it.
Ouais, ok, parfait, je vais y aller avant midi, c'est sûr. Merci beaucoup.
that's okay. Okay, yeah. So, yes. I'm going to take pictures of the flip charts. Yes. And anything else that comes up. Yeah, I can do it. It's okay. No, it's okay. I can do. Between Madeline and I, we can, because she will go around the tables and I will take some notes and do some pictures. Yes.
We need some highlights.
Okay.
No problem.
No problem. Okay. Le photographe l'a fait. Ouais. On va récupérer les photos, mais moi de toute façon j'ai pris les feuilles. Donc je vais les mettre dans la caisse. Ouais. Ouais. Sinon j'ai les feuilles. Ouais.
Même sur le...
Alors il faut juste que je reprenne la session, donc je te laisse rejoindre ton équipe. I hope everyone is ready to report back. And I also hope that everyone has designated one person to present your project. So we would ask you to keep the presentation, maybe to limit it to 4 minutes, to 4 minutes per table, to give the chance for everyone to speak. Okay, so we can start with this table, the cluster training. Are you guys ready? should we ask? Okay.
Un hôtel, je ne pas arriver parce que je lui avais demandé de garder la chambre jusqu'à plus tard. Il m'a dit non, il faut payer la nuit.
You may start.
This is a cluster training program. Attention members. In the cluster training program here, or discussion desk, we came up with the ASNs down here that happen to be in the same region or zone, that is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi. And we looked at our target to look at training the senior officials, which could be one of the main issue, because when you train the senior officials, then you are able to manage the subsidiary offices down. So we also looked at, when you train the senior officials, you'll be able to get quality and do the monitoring and consistency of this throughout the ASNs up here, which also should be at a level of the FIA, not say that we are only looking at ours, but something that is standardized within us. From there, on our point C, we looked at what are we targeting in this senior official training. These are the departments we're looking at mainly: safety, clerk of course, stewards, controllers, and then, okay, time marshals and the controller, the same. So that's the main cause that we're looking at first. Then these others can be handled at a later stage. The moment these are really taken care of well, and we all know that this is the basis of the running of any event. So we'll be in position to have, so by having these senior officials who can as well be trainers of other members in the ASNs, it would be good. And we looked at a number of people who can be able to train and as well cross-border in case of any need, because we are near each other. Yeah, 6 per country. We also came at use of some experts from the zone and use an RTP. In point A, when we break down, is the training sessions of which should be training sessions, assessments, and then licensing. Then on point F, we looked at delivery, how they will be delivering, the level to assess and do everything of the sort of all these officials. Then we also looked at creating a continuous assessment or monitoring to keep going, not just to have the brain with one person. Jeff, you learned from Zenazi here, and then you chill. We don't want this. We want it to be an extended task. I want to go to Abdallah and do something. So from that point, this is point G. Point H, we looked at developing framework to retain, this is what I've been trying to actually explain, to retain these people. We have to develop a framework. How do we retain these people? To have them like the way you have Steve Hardy, Serinda, Duplessis, so people of the kind, Paul Monge, yeah. We still, of the age that we still have them, because of their knowledge, we still working with them. So this is a kind of example I'm trying to give in the house, is this point here. So this has been our quick one. I hope it's been clear to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can move on to...
One point, also, we are looking at unifying the licensing level within the region so that we have that quality. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move on to table equipment purchase. Who is presenting?
Yes. Just in the last 30 seconds, I've been appointed to present because we will have to speak Portuguese. So if I speak Portuguese mean in the middle of presentation, please know that that is how we are taken through. Now, in this cluster, I mean on this table, we have Madagascar, we have Zambia, we have Uganda, Mauritius, Ethiopia, Mozambique, and Tunisia. Luckily enough, we seem to share the same concepts and the ideas are likely to be the same. But if you look at all this equipment, it's what makes the entire championship. So it is much easier and each one of them is interwoven. But let's start with, for example, Madagascar. We looked at the first question, which was the objective definitely is to acquire a state-of-the-art efficient time equipment. Competition is all about, among other things, timing. So if you're going to use rudimentary systems, definitely you are going to trickle down a lot of queries, a lot of things. So Madagascar is looking at that, and also the timing system is also going to help to update and keep confidence among their competitors who will be on the track. They have this, but they believe timing is one of the ingredients. How will they measure this? Definitely, they will cut down on the number of, say, protests, the number of people, and also the interest is likely to come on because everybody will gain confidence into this system. We go to Zambia. Zambia is looking at communication of radios. With Zambia, it is to enhance the communication between in the entire running of the event. And enhanced communication means also enhanced safety for this particular kind of equipment. And of course, this will come a lot with the challenges. Most of you come from these governments. You will know that the frequency to acquire, we did call it a task, not a challenge. It's both task and challenge. In most regions, frequency is owned by the government. So it will be a challenge to make sure that, and you know, our frequency in motorsport Zambia, it is over 80 kilometers, 100 kilometers, that radius. Frequencies which are easily allowed is between 1 kilometer to 2 kilometers. So that is going to be the thing. But once this is acquired, definitely there is going to be a trickle-down system of safety being acquired and also be able to save on time. Because if you can communicate between A and B in the easiest time, at the end of it all, we will go back to the CAMS aspect of cutting down on the number of hours that we are really looking forward to. So this is the equipment that Zambia is looking at acquiring. And when we come to Uganda, we are looking at first intervention vehicles. This is what we call safety vehicles. And we believe, like we've been talking about in Uganda, one of the challenges among them is safety. So we believe the first intervention cars will be very easy to help on the safety aspect. Once we have these vehicles, definitely, like the Zambians told us, you cannot have these vehicles without radio communication. So definitely you will see that we will need them, but it helps us to coordinate between events, and at the end of it all, it will also help on safety, but above all, they can also work as intervention vehicles. There are many factors which will do this. How will you measure? Definitely we will see the level to which we are able to control our crowds, the communication in them, and probably, what do we call those speakers we mount on some of the peer systems can also be very helpful to communicate quick messages. And also in case for certain hazards, these will also be able. So it is also another system that is going to help from competitor to official down to the fans. If we go to Mauritius timing, once again, Mauritius, they want to acquire timing system. It is also similar to this one, but of course for them, they'll be going for rally and hill climbing. One of the biggest issues and challenges that has been coming to Mauritius is, of course, protests, people losing confidence into the whole system. But once they have this, they believe everybody, the system will be self-automated. You do not need to go to officials to ask them about your timings. But above all, they believe they will be able to manage human resource. Because when you have a good automated system, now the measurable part of it, if you have been using 10 marshals, you will find that you may need to use like 2, and the entire system will be automated. But above all, it is going to help to build confidence in their country, which in the end will build up on the funds and also help on the sponsorship part of it, given that the sponsors would have gained confidence into this. So they believe this will help in. So it is believed it is going to be helped also in the hill climbing as much as slalom. I am not very sure about the timing equipment which is going to be used, but it will help us maybe during the interactions lunch time, not now. You'll be able to interact and help us how this will work. Ethiopians, I think, have also admired the FIV as I was coming in, so they brought in this paper. So basically it makes it fast intervention vehicles. But also what we know about Ethiopia, when we were there, we launched the slaloms, and the FIA was able to donate too. And they had a vibrant group of young people who are interested. Why they want this equipment is that the two could not be, are not enough for the entire country. So they want to, more of these pieces, probably if they can get 10. They believe if they get 10, how will it be measured? If these people can qualify, probably it will be very helpful to reactivate their rallying in this particular field. So Ethiopian equipment is going to be very simple, that they want more, given that they have a young generation that is coming. And one of the cardinal aims of karting, we are talking with the Ethiopians at the East African level to make sure that some of our competitors, 1 or 2, can go and compete in Ethiopia to be able to build that. So we believe it's a long project that is going to really help. Mozambique, drag racing, they want the same timing system, which is, of course, this is a very, very fast moving, but I think it is the same timing system that we shall be using. Basically, it's the same timing. What do you mean, Christmas? I'm not well versed with the Christmas tree thing. Please help me to elaborate a bit.
Okay, it's called a Christmas tree because it works with lights. It's assembled on the beginning, on the starting line. It gives the time schedule with the lights. So the cards aligns, there's lights that shows the card is aligned. After the 2 cars or 2 motorbikes are aligned, it goes a sequential. Normally it's 3 yellows, then a green. As you finish the sequential part of the lights, the cars can start and they can do 400, 800 or a kilometer distance. In the end, the timing machine will give the reaction time, the top speed time, and the time overall of the equipments. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. That is why there is a reason for all of us to have our Christmas down there in Mozambique. And we do this. And finally, Tunisia, it's also not different from all this kind of thing. Tunisia is also aiming, cutting and circuits. Yeah, so they want to do this for mainly cutting and circuits, and we are working out also as a group to make sure that we we get a lot of knowledge from Tunisia, but definitely if you look at these timing systems, they're all the same. So on this table, our issue was uniquely interwoven. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Duzman. We'll move on to facilities.
Thank you. Our requirements are at this stage incredibly important but fairly basic. We're very lucky we still have our track facilities which were built in the 70s. Whilst we've had maintenance over the years, there are certain aspects now where we have construction issues in the tracks, and we'll be applying for assistance to repair these issues and do certain resurfacing on some of the corners where there's quite high degradation. This is definitely an ongoing project. I mean, the total value that we've been quoted is over $700,000. Obviously, we have to find this over the next probably 4 to 5 years, but there's certain stuff which we need to get busy with now, certainly where we've got subsistence in the one circuit, which has proved to be a safety issue. So by repairing that, it improves the safety. We've had suspension failure on some vehicles because of this, and we obviously want to alleviate these problems. But it is important that we maintain these circuits, because to replace them would probably be virtually impossible. Simple. Thank you.
That's enough.
Thank you, Ralph. We'll move on to officials training and event management.
Sorry, I never wrote on this notice board thing. Okay, since we new in the ASN, what we're going to be going with is officials training and event management. We're looking at training 20 senior officials and about 20 marshals. The discipline that we're going to be going under would be cross-country, as this is the highest demand in Botswana. And also the numbers are growing regarding cross-country, as we've got some of our drivers that participate in all the South African events. Let me just keep my notes here. So we'll be introducing a training program for officials and to get an event organized that, as it is in demand compared to other disciplines. We'll use the appetite for the Toyota 1000 to plan our own cross-country events to develop motorsport in our ASN. Where we now is this question? Okay, question D. We do have the necessary human resources, but will require collaboration with other organizations, which will be a RTP from MSA. Once the training process is complete and the RTP is satisfied with results, then we'll know that our activity is complete. The next step would be to plan events and get a championship planned for the year 2020. Question D. Okay. To introduce a licensing system for officials in order to have them improving and moving up from, example, if they've got a license for marshalling, they've got the opportunity to move from being a marshal to a COC. Main challenge. Our main challenges are obviously spectator safety and retention of officials. So we'll focus on spectator safety. We'll do public awareness,
advertise our events more regarding the safety aspect, as that is a big issue with cross country in Botswana. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie. I'm going to bring the session to a close now because we're quite tight on time. Thank you very much for all your work, all your suggestions, your ideas. Now the hard work starts because you need to get your applications in by Tuesday. So I think Frederick's not here now. No, we'll take a quick coffee break now. If you can manage to be back, I think by 11, maybe bring your coffee back in here, and then it means that we can start the next session on time. Thank you very much.